How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. With plenty of NBA free agents still available in the market, many of them have already signed and some of them have gotten paid way more than they deserve, and teams will simply regret it. Every season, there will always be a bunch of teams who will sign many borderline all-star free agents to a max contract, and a lot of times they simply underproduce and teams will simply regret it. With that said, here are 5 of the most overpaid free agents in the 2019 offseason. Number 5, Al Horford agreeing to a 4-year, $109 million deal with the 76ers. The 33-year-old was one of the most attractive free agents this summer. With multiple teams willing to throw in big money for the veteran, the 6'10 big man will be 36 years old, entering the final year of his deal, set to make over $25 million a year. It comes in a heavy price. If Big Al experiences a decline, perhaps as early as next season, coming off averaging 13.6 points, almost 7 rebounds, over 4 assists on 53% shooting in 29 minutes last season was pretty solid. And despite making huge money, in no way is Horford overrated. He's a guy who can fill the void for Joel Embiid if he was to miss time with injury. A good leader by example, does all the little things, sets screens, makes plays, anchors the defense, contests shots, and shoots with range. Him and Embiid will be key down low in slowing down Giannis if they were to meet in the postseason. His impact is very similar to the likes of veterans Paul Millsap and Marc Gasol. Come playoff time, Big Al will be vital in big moments. If the 76ers don't end up winning a title within the next 2 years, Horford will start declining and his contract will be a huge liability. A big risk, big reward situation to come. Looking at the Chris Paul signing last season when he was 33 years old, it's already a disaster for Houston given his age, but at least Horford will be the 4th option instead of the 2nd option. Number 4, Khris Middleton. The Bucks giving him a 5-year worth $178 million. Just falling short of a max, he'll be getting $2 million less than Tobias Harris. Despite having 1 All-Star appearance, his deal also includes a player option for the 5th season, a deal the Bucks had to make to ensure Giannis will stay long-term when he becomes a free agent in 2021. The issue with Middleton is he's a solid 2nd option, but not an excellent one. Many question whether the soon-to-be 28-year-old will be good enough to give the Bucks a lift against their competition as title contenders. No other team could have afforded the 6'8 small forward to a whopping 5-year deal, where it would have been smarter if Milwaukee offered him a 4-year max instead of a 5-year. For a guy who averaged 18.3 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, the team didn't have enough money to sign the efficient Malcolm Brogdon, who had to leave in a sign and trade. A big concern about the team going forward is whether Middleton is the clear-cut 2nd option. Since last season, there were stretches that Bledsoe and Brogdon performed better. When the team needed him to step up, he struggled in the conference finals against Toronto, averaged just 13.7 points on 41% shooting, had a pathetic 6 points on 2 of 9 shooting in Game 5, shot 3 of 16 shooting in Game 3, only scoring 9 points in the overtime loss. Since he was undervalued before getting his contract, everyone will tend to forget about the awful performances, but once he gets that money, he'll be heavily criticized if he doesn't step up in big games in the postseason. Number 3, Tobias Harris, getting a 5-year max worth $180 million. After Jimmy Butler announced he was going to sign with Miami, resigning Tobias was a priority, but his 3-point percentage dipped from 43% last season with the Clippers to 33% with Philly. Butler received a 4-year worth $142 million with the Heat, who's a better player than Harris, is proven as a multiple-time All-Star, but Harris is the younger guy, will be 27 years old next season, underappreciated and undervalued his whole career. The fact that the 6'9 forward was never even an All-Star, being able to get a $180 million contract is incredible. It shows that if you're a quality player who doesn't have to be a star, you can still get almost $200 million. Paying him just $10 million less than the Warriors are paying Klay Thompson, and more than the Mavs are paying Kristaps Porzingis over the same time period, could end up hurting the Sixers' limited flexibility to build around Embiid and Simmons, where the franchise will offer Simmons a whopping $170 million max. So much for a guy who can't shoot in the NBA. Tobias, who averaged 14 a game on 38% shooting in the series against Toronto, raises many questions whether he will be reliable enough stepping up in critical moments come playoff time. Set to make $36 million a year, many argue that he's getting paid twice his worth. For a guy coming off averaging 20 a game for the first time this past season, Many also wonder whether if Harris has already reached his ceiling. Number 2, Harrison Barnes and the Kings agreeing to a 4-year deal worth $85 million contract. The 6'8" small forward will be entering his 8th season, which is safe to say we've seen the ceiling for Barnes, once considered a promising lottery pick. We've seen him fail to step up in big moments, especially against the Cavs in the 2016 finals. Absolutely stunked it up, averaged 9.3 points on 35% shooting, and after signing with the Mavs put up empty numbers with a terrible Dallas team where he averaged 18.7 points in 2.5 seasons, but his play barely translated to wins. After a 4-year deal worth $94.4 million in summer 2016, it's evidently clear Barnes is a replaceable starting forward in the league, not a player you can build around. Actually struggled last season, averaged 14.3 points in 28 games played with Sacramento while they were in contention fighting for a playoff spot. Barnes simply did not make the team better. The franchise was already heading towards the right direction before they acquired him from Dallas with young De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and Marvin Bagley, but the team now will have to give Barnes serious minutes to justify the deal, paying him over $21 million annually. The fact that the Kings went 11-17 overall after Barnes' arrival, 28-26 before he got there, a significant drop. For a franchise that hasn't made the postseason since 2006, I'm not sure if Barnes is the guy who can help them clinch their first postseason berth in 14 years heading into next season. Number 1, Terry Rozier and the Hornets agreed to pay him 3 years worth $58 million, fully guaranteed. Since the franchise probably can't get worse with their decisions, the Hornets simply panicked by signing Rozier for nearly $20 million a year, who heavily underachieved last season, averaging just 9 points a game on 39% shooting, never shot over 40% in any season of his career. Following a solid playoff run in 2018, he's nowhere near the player Kemba is, and way too inconsistent. It was pathetic how the franchise failed to offer Kemba way less than his worth, failing to trade him before the deadline, lowballing their fan base. The greatest Hornet all time was never even close to being the highest paid Hornet, was the 6th highest paid player on the team last season, and when it was time for a contract he deserved, Boston was simply the better choice. For a team that will be over the salary cap next season, who's not going anywhere, the team responded by paying Rozier, a player with minimum experience as a starter, as much money as Kemba and backup Tony Parker made combined all of last season. I can see why the Charlotte fan base is absolutely livid. Honorable mentions includes DeAndre Jordan's 4-year $44 million contract with Brooklyn, who will be 31 years old next season, spent a lot of time on the bench last season with the worst team in the NBA, while Taj Gibson's 2-year $20 million seems too much for a dysfunctional Knicks team, and Nikola Vucevic 4-year $100 million after getting locked up by Marc Gasol last postseason. Thank you so much for watching this video. Where do you guys think guys like DeMarcus Cousins or Jabari Parker signs with? Let me know in the comments below. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.